Good evening. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct the business of the Gettysburg Area School District. The Board of Directors meetings and committee meetings are open to the public, but are not public meetings. All school district residents who wish to make public comment should sign in prior to the start of the meeting and request to speak during citizens' participation. Pursuant to Board Policy 903, each citizen participation has a max of 4 minutes for a total of 30 minutes during each board meeting. School district residents wishing to speak to the board shall do so only during citizens' participation section of the meeting. The board will not tolerate public outbursts or disruptions, nor will tolerate comments made outside of the citizens' participation portion of the meeting. All public comment is welcome, and all issues will be referred to the appropriate board, committee, or administrator. Comments will be summarized in the official board minutes, which will be made available by contacting the business office. Please take a moment and silence your cell phones or any other electronic devices. And welcome. The two board members absent, Jeremy and Al, both have been excused for this evening. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under notices and communications, we're going to do the presentation from the middle school first, and then second will be the auditor's report or the audit presentation. As a side note, for those individuals that came from the middle school, after the presentation, we'll take a few moments if you'd like to exit, or you're more than welcome to stay for the entire board meeting. Year 4.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm Christy Kaywood, principal at Gettysburg Middle School, and I'm here tonight with a couple students. In fact, I'm actually seeing quite a few other students here tonight as well, so if we stumble over our words, I may have to call on them to help us out a little bit. But, oops, maybe this isn't going to work. Yeah, I think I just was, yeah, I had to be in the right spot. As you all know, Warrior Way is a big part of the middle school. Be here, be involved, be committed, and be kind. And what we wanted to share with you today was a little bit about how being involved is more than just extracurriculars. Being involved is also being involved in your education. So we were going to go over some of the things that the middle school has done and is doing to get students more involved in their education. One thing that we've been working very hard on the last years or 2 years here have been the science STEEL standards. Science, technology and engineering, environmental, literacy and sustainability. And really this shift in standards is moving away from just rote memorization of science skills and more to having students actively participate and learn those scientific practices and support a deeper understanding for what they're learning. In math, one of the big pushes has been building thinking classrooms. This is a novel that the teachers have all read. The idea here is that students are getting up, they're working on boards around the classrooms. If you've been into a math classroom at the middle school lately, you'll notice that it's surrounded by whiteboards. They're up, they're working together, they're problem solving, and asking each other for help before they ask the teacher. So that has been a big change in our math classrooms. Social studies, one of the ways students really get involved there. A big part is in our 7th grade. Every year they do a Difference Makers Museum. And they are responsible for picking their own important person in American history, creating an artifact, and doing some research about that person and impact they are making. And then the work that they do is in our library. We set it up to look like a museum, and parents and families can walk through that display. In English language arts, our teachers have been very busy implementing a new program called Amplify. And this program really offers differentiated support to meet our students where they're at and get them ready for the next level. So again, we're hitting students where they are and working on their individual skills to improve. The other part of getting involved is with our unified arts courses. In these courses, students have a lot of these are more student interests. These are more hands-on type of learning skills. Provide a lot of opportunities for creativity, collaboration, and again, that hands-on learning. One of the classes is Tech Comp, and in this class, they are using software that actual engineers use, Autodesk Inventor software. They create projects, they design them, they 3D print them, and build them in many ways. And for STEM, I actually have one of our 6th graders, Scarlett Sokol, to tell you a little bit about what happens in STEM class.
Hi, my name is Scarlett Sokol. I'm in 6th grade and I'm here today to share what we're doing in STEM class. In STEM, there are many projects that challenge you to work hard and think outside the box. The first project we did was to make an LED name tag. For this project, we used the engineering design process. The engineering design process is when you take steps to solve a problem. The first step is to ask a question, then you have to research to get information about the problem you are trying to solve. Next, you have to come up with solutions. Then you create a prototype, test the prototype, and finally you make improvements if needed. This is the process we used when we built our LED name tags in class. We also just started a new project where we built a track to make the marble go slower. The slowest time wins. For this project, we used the engineering design process. We also have our math skills because we have a budget that we have, and we use our problem-solving skills. I really enjoy STEM class because it gives me a hands-on experience.
STEM is also something that next year we're expanding so that our 8th graders have an opportunity to take STEM. Right now it's only offered in 6th grade, so that is an improvement we're making so that we can cover some more students with those skills. Okay. Tech Ed follows along the same lines there. They're using a lot of that same software that you saw in Tech Comp, but in this one, they're actually building it. So they have a design contest usually in the class, and then the winning design is what everybody mass builds. So maybe some of you even have a shelf, or I know I have one of those notepads at my house that one of my kids have created. And because of all these tech classes, our TSA has become a pretty solid and important program in our building. In fact, my next student speaker, you may notice him or recognize him because he was on the front page of the paper today. So Noah, come on down.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Noah Puckett, and I'm currently finishing up my 8th grade year at Gettysburg Area Middle School. During my years at the middle school, GAMS has offered numerous STEM opportunities for me to explore both inside and outside the classroom. Since 6th grade, I've had chances to compete in robotics and engineering competitions through a school science club called TSA, which is the Technology Student Association. TSA is an organization that offers a wide range of STEM competition events for students to participate in, including leadership speech, children's books, fashion design, and engineering, to name a few. What we have learned from our UA classes, or Unified Arts classes, have prepared us well for the competitions. In 6th grade, we learned CAD drawing basics and coding from our Tech Comp teacher, Mr. Hassis, which was really helpful for us to do engineering design and being able to create those prototypes for all of our projects. We also had a FACS class, which allowed us to use sewing machines, which helped us with any design that needs to use soft fabric and any fashion design competition. In 7th and 8th grade, the opportunities at GAMS expanded significantly. We learned how to use woodworking machines, 3D printers, laser engravers, and all of those offers a lot of possibilities for our STEM projects. We can explore using different materials to put together the project. 3D printing is especially important for us to use when designing on model design. The resource from that UA class allows us to explore different project ideas and makes it possible for us to participate in many different types of events for the STEM competitions. Our TSA chapter team has had much much success in the past 2 years. We have continuously won at the regional, state competitions and made it to the national level with the first and third place last year. None of those would have been able to happen without the support from our technology teachers, Mrs. Hefner, our UA teacher, Mr. Berwick, Mr. Hassis, and our FACS teacher, Ms. McBride. Overall, these experiences have not only helped me grow as a student, but they have also given me a broader understanding of STEM applications and what we can do with those soft and hard skills. Thank you.
And these are just some of the projects that TSA has done and submitted recently. And world language, I have another student to talk a little bit about world language and what's that meant for him, Marcus Hurst.
All right. Good evening. My name is Marcus. I'm currently studying Spanish in the world language program here at GAMS. Ever since day one of the program, I have strongly found out how lucky and blessed we are to have an amazing program to teach us new and different things for our students. Here at GAMS, you first start off by taking the mandatory mini to see how you would like the program. During the mini, you will learn German, French, and Spanish. If you would like to proceed and expand on the world language program, then you certainly can. You will have the choice to either take Spanish, French, or German, but in a more advanced class. The main reason I have a strong interest in learning a different language is because of the communication and ability to have a simple conversation with another person that doesn't understand or speak English. When I was a much younger kid, both my siblings and parents would tell me how crucial being multilingual would help benefit me when I need to encounter and talk to a person who may be bilingual. Now, there are multiple other reasons for being multilingual, but another main important reason is that some colleges or even jobs may offer you a better position and might even benefit the cause as well, because they strongly understand that you are able to be an efficient problem solver, have good communication skills, and overall a good skill and ability to possess. So if a college or job finds out that you are multilingual, there is a higher chance they will give you an offer or position because they know how capable of a person you can potentially be. You may not care that I'm telling you this or perhaps giving you this information. But if we keep the world language program here at Gettysburg Area School District, it can most likely benefit some students when they try and get into a certain college or career of their choice. Moving on, as a younger member of this community, I have already found it to be very helpful and meaningful to keep an open mind about new languages. Not just because of the ability to be able to have an everyday conversation with someone, but getting to know all of the things that come with the country's culture. For example, if you were to take a trip to a different country, and let's say you wanted to stop somewhere for food. However, when you get to order your food, and the menu seems nothing like Morse code or scribbles to you, then you're out of luck. However, unless someone is a multilingual person in the line is willing to give you a helping hand, it doesn't stop there either. You can be in that situation anywhere you go in a different country and be embarrassed trying to get your phone out and translate what the heck you're trying to say to that person. Next, moving on into what I've learned so far. Included in this program, you will learn how to accept challenges, make new friends, and patience. Those three things I have found to be extremely important and helpful to have while taking the world language program, and here's why. Accepting new challenges is excellent because when you start to move into a more complex topic in a regular class, you will have to make sure you're willing to accept failure and to get over it and move on. That deeply connects to the program here because when you start to not understand something, you tend to get nervous and upset with yourself because you feel embarrassed. The thing is though, with all the amazing staff and resources, you will have no problem digging your way out and achieving your extraordinary goal. As a person who is taking this program, it feels absolutely amazing that you have finally conquered the challenge standing in your way. It doesn't stop there. When you achieve that goal, it not only wants you to keep pushing, but encourages you to help other people surrounded by you, making an overall good impact on you. Next, making new friends here at GAMS, the program often has you up and talking to new people instead of casually going towards your friends and people you know. It may seem uncomfortable at first, but once you get used to speaking and the person you're speaking to, it tends to be very exciting simply because not only have you made a new friend, but it intensely boosts your confidence in yourself. Lastly, patience. Most people expect to attack something brand new and not be quite decent at it. With learning a new language, though, that is not the case. You will have to put in the time and effort into a worksheet or notes that you are taking in class. Then proceed to practice them even more so you feel more comfortable. After a long time of putting in hard work, results will start to show when you become more confident in your work. So for the students who would like a challenge, meet new people, and make new friends, the World Language Program should be an option for them in their future. Okay, so what am I trying to tell you here? Well, I'm trying to connect an average school life to a world language class. Accepting new challenges, making new friends, and even patience are things you typically need in a classroom, but especially when you're inside of a world language classroom. So, when I'm in class, those are what a teacher and yourself should expect to be successful in that class. Which is why when I took world language the first time, I really enjoyed learning all about it. Same goes for other people. A lot of other people highly enjoyed the program and recommended it as well. Which is why I highly enjoyed that class and would love if you'll be able to stick around for a very long time. Not just for me, not just because I'm telling you all this, but because I know other people out there would enjoy and look forward to having this program a part of their career here. I'd like to thank you all for giving me a few moments of your time, and I personally wish you a rest of a good day.
All right, so that's world language. Obviously, very meaningful, all of these things to the students that we have. Others that I didn't bring more students along, but I did mention some of them in this presentation. When it comes to music, we do offer 6th and 7th grade general music, where they're learning about different music careers, music genres, recording music. But 6th grade band, orchestra and chorus, in fact, 6th grade choir, which I had on here, we had some students selected to participate in Songfest in Mechanicsburg. So that is Mia Alvarez Bueno, Olivia McClure, Charlotte Orleski, and Miona Topper. And then in 8th grade, we have violinist Allegra Dorman, who would just audition and made the Harrisburg Symphony Youth Orchestra. We also have a group of 7th and 8th graders that have made Adams County Band Festival, which will be January 31st and February. That's Ruby Lancaster, Greta Hartley, Rachel Schwartz, James Pickett, Allegra Dorman, Olivia Kretz, Leonard Orleski, and Ellie Frey. If you haven't been to one of the concerts where they bring the middle school and high school students together, those are really, really awesome to see. In fact, I noticed on here, and I haven't seen this before, but April 3rd, the district chorus is elementary, middle school, and high school students all on the same stage. So if you haven't been to one of those where they put all the kids together, those really are amazing, and it is fun to see all of our kids up there doing something that they truly love. I know Noah brought up family and consumer science courses. You know, kids are learning how to sew. They were making pillows. They designed their own designs for those. In 7th grade, they're learning about food and cooking foods, and they actually partnered up with our district food services team and created a menu that was actually served in the middle school. So we're doing lots of neat things there. Art as well. We've got tons of young artists who are making all different types of works of art at the middle school. She teaches a certain concept, like maybe it's pottery or clay working, and every kid designs their own whatever it may be. She goes over the basic different techniques, and then they can get creative in whatever the product might look like in the end. So right now they are getting ready for an art show and filling up our hallways with the display cases with the art that's been made this year. PE, this one, obviously is usually a big fan favorite of the students, and this year it actually went to another level as they started to track personal fitness, and you can't really see on the windows there, but they started keeping track of the pacer test, like, who was in the 100 club, who's in the 70 plus club, and the kids get to write their name on the board as they achieve those different goals. So it's very competitive, and the kids are having a lot of fun, and that's really become a favorite this year. So in so many different ways at the middle school, kids are getting involved, whether it's, in our core academic courses, reaching their individual needs. and improving those and showing growth, or it's addressing the student interests and really getting them excited for school, because we want them to come and we want them to learn and enjoy their time at Gettysburg Middle School. So that's it. I also wanted to thank you all. I know I wasn't here at the last board meeting. My daughter was, it was senior night at basketball, but I had some representatives here, and thank you for approving our naming of our gymnasium. So we were very excited for that and moving forward in that direction as well. So thank you for your attention. Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Kaywood. On behalf of the board, please extend our thanks to your presenters tonight, and more importantly, it gets lost, to your staff for their work ethic and their commitment to the middle school. It doesn't go unnoticed with the board, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Hessinger, can I say a couple quick things?
Go ahead, Alice.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you, Mrs. Kaywood, as well, for all of those things. Just on a personal note, I'm looking forward, so those sixth graders coming to Songfest, I'm hosting it.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
I'm looking forward to
Okay.
seeing them and participating with them there. It should be a great event. In terms of all the student speakers, I just want to give little shout outs, because I know it's not easy to get up and speak in front of people here, let alone a really crowded room tonight, which I think is great for people to hear. Yeah, absolutely, hear what's going on. And, I took some notes. I'm just going to give you some specific feedback that I appreciated. Marcus, I took French in middle school, started in middle school. I don't know where you sat. Back there, up there. And I really loved the reason you gave for diving into Spanish and really finding a passion in the world language program in terms of being able to communicate with people. And in this community, that's incredibly easy to do, right? We have a multilingual community as well, so keep going. I'm excited to see where you go next with it. For Noah, diving into robotics, that's really cool. I did not get a chance to do that. Oh, you're standing too. Look at that. I was on my science team in middle school, but I only got to do that outside of school. So in terms of having opportunities to weave that into what you do in the daytime, I think that's awesome. And good work continuing after school as well. Scarlett, I believe that LED name tag on the screen was yours, right? The one with the balloons. I really liked the artistic part of it, but also the science part of it. So thank you guys for speaking about it and sharing those experiences.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Belinda, that would bring us to the audit presentation.
Yes, thank you, Board. I'd like to present to you.
I'm sorry, before you start, any of the middle school present and their parents, we'll give you a minute if you want to exit, or you can stay for the board meeting. Thank you so much.
Financial part's really exciting.
Yes.
It gives me
It
a
is.
pleasure to introduce you to Tina Geip. She is manager from Boyer and Ritter, and she will provide the board an update as to our audit ending June of '24. Tina?
Good evening. I just want to let you know that I am responsible for the daily operations of this year's audit engagement, the direct progresses, the obstacles, as well as assisting in the development and implementation of an effective audit plan. Certainly appreciate your time this evening and in giving me the opportunity to present the results of the annual audit. It's not been through our full audit process yet, so is subject to change. We are very close to that end date. So you will get your final audit packages at an upcoming board meeting. Hopefully, very upcoming. So the next slide. Before I dive into the results of the audit, just a brief introduction on the why, the what, and the how, just to lay a foundation for the audit. So why does the district need an audit every year? First, PDE, or Department of Education, requires an independent audit to comply with the annual financial reporting requirements. Secondly, the federal government requires an annual audit if you expend more than $750,000 in federal awards. That's called a single audit or a compliance audit. This past year, the district spent approximately $7.5 million in federal funds. Additionally, there are requirements for continuing disclosures laid out in your bond and note agreements, which require annual audits to be uploaded and available. And of course, you, the school board, have a vested interest in the financial operations of the district as you govern throughout the year. Next slide is what. So our audit covers the funds here listed on this slide. These funds and the related financial statements report the current activity or the daily transactions of the district, consistent with the monthly reporting that the business office provides you. The other part of the financial statements are the government-wide statements, and that's typically probably something you only see on an annual basis. These statements report your long-term assets and liabilities, your capital assets, your bond and note, the pension and the OPEB activities. Next, the how. So how do we conduct the audit? We look the audit as a three-step process. We plan, we execute, and we report. The first two phases, planning and execution, are focused on your controls, on risk, and of course the numbers presented in the report. Our team performs the required testing to ensure the district has the necessary processes and procedures in place as it relates to the financial transactions and reporting, and ultimately to ensure that the financial statements are presented fairly and accurately. And the final step is to pull together the financial reporting package and issue our opinions based on the results of our work. So Boyer & Ritter provides 3 audit opinions in our financial reporting package. 1 for the audit of the financial statements and 2 related to the compliance audit. The first one is the independent auditor's report, which is over your financial statements. It starts with an opinions paragraph, which is expected to express an unmodified opinion over the financial statements, noting that the statements are reported in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, which is the best possible result that an auditor can provide, what you, the board, as well as your bondholders would expect to see, and what you've had in the past. It also has a basis for opinion section, where we state that we conducted our audit in accordance with the appropriate auditing standards and that we are independent of the district and have met our ethical responsibilities. Then we identify that management is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements and is also responsible for designing, implementing, and maintaining your internal controls. Then we note that we as auditors must obtain a reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free from material misstatement and to issue our report. And I'll note here that reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance. It's not absolute, because we as the auditors, of course, can't look at every single transaction went through the business office this past year. The second auditor's report is the one related to the compliance audit. This is the independent auditor's report on internal controls and compliance. We anticipate providing another unmodified opinion, noting that we did not identify any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal control or financial reporting, nor did we identify any non-compliance issues related to the financial statements. And finally, the third report is the independent auditor's report on compliance. This one is specific to the major programs selected as part of the compliance audit. This year we tested the Education Stabilization Fund, or your various ESSER funds all combined into one, where you had approximately $4.5 million worth of ESSER expenditures this year. Again, the report is expected to express an unmodified opinion stating that the district met the program requirements that could have a direct and material effect on your major program. We note in our opinion is based on the 3 audit professional standards, those being the generally accepted auditing standards, government auditing standards, and uniform guidance. Again, management is responsible for compliance with the requirements, and then we perform tests to ensure that the compliance occurred. And finally, we note that we identified deficiencies in internal control this year. During our testing, one was for filing of reports, and the second was for missing time certifications. The audit identified that the district either did not file or timely file those quarterly reports. However, Belinda did indicate this evening that all ESSER funds have been received and deposited in your accounts as of today or in the next FAI?
It was, the funds were just issued with basic subsidy, so it's a matter of reporting those funds in the current month's revenue.
Yep. Thank you. The next slide is your financial statements at a glance. So the three pieces that we just identified is what we as the auditors are responsible for. The rest of this is the responsibility of management. The first being management discussion and analysis. It's currently in the process of being worked on by management, but is a good summary of the financial position of the district. It provides detailed explanations about the changes in your finances from the prior year. And what we feel one of the most important sections of the report and worth your time to read through if you're limited on time and can't go through this entire massive document when you receive it. The next section is your various financial statements, and we'll get them on the next couple slides, followed by the notes to the financial statements. We've identified here what we see as or feel is the most important or most significant to you, followed by the required supplementary information, which is your budget to actual in your general fund and the 10-year pension and OPEB reports. And then we have the single audit reporting section, and that includes your schedule of expenditures of federal awards, which shows what each of the awards were, what you received, how much you spent, what is anticipated to be received after the end of the year. The next slide is results on your general fund. You can see here that both revenues and expenditures have increased over the prior years. So total revenues account for approximately 65% of, I don't know if I started that right, local revenues account for 65% of your total revenue, with state and local sources making up the remaining 35%. In the table at the bottom, you'll see that taxes at $46 million is about 59% of your total revenue received for the year. We have seen an increase in federal revenue since 2020 with the influx of all the various COVID funds. This was the last full year of that COVID funding. You had a small amount of two of the ESSER programs that carried over into the 24-25 school year that had to be spent in the first 3 months. Also in this slide shows that has a budget column, so you can see that your total revenues exceeded budget by about $8.3 million, and that was your predominantly in the ESSER, not being budgeted last year, so that's where that piece came in at. Total expenditures were about $2.4 million, higher than what you budgeted. But overall, the net revenues and expenses resulted in an increase in fund balance of just over $1.9 million last year. The next slide provides the breakdown of your general funds, fund balances into those different classifications. So you'll see that we have non-spendable of $237,000, restricted of $3.2 million, committed of $10.1, assigned of $6.2, and an unassigned of $6.3 million for a total fund balance of $26.2 million. Just as a reminder, only that unassigned portion is what's available for operations. The balance of those numbers have been earmarked for specific purposes. Next slide is quick results on your capital projects reserve fund. All the revenue within this fund is from investment earnings and transfers in from the general fund. The ending fund balance in this fund is $9.7 million, and that's essentially what's sitting in the cash account there. The next slide is your capital projects bond fund. Revenues in this fund is just investment earnings, while those expenditures of $14 million were related to your various HVAC and roof replacement projects last year. And your ending fund balance of $20.5 million is pretty close to what's sitting in your cash account. I think there was some small accounts payable there, but otherwise, that's what's sitting in cash. The next slide is your food service fund. Total revenues increased approximately $241,000 over the prior year. That increase was predominantly in your state and federal revenues. Total expenditures increased about $456,000 over the prior year, and that is within your salaries and benefits and the supplies classifications. Supplies being all your food costs. So the end result for the food service fund was an increase in net position of approximately $72,000. The next slide is your student activity funds. You'll see here that our revenues exceeded expenditures, so we do have a $34,000 increase in net position. And the final slide related to the numbers are asset and liabilities. The most significant of those that are reported on the government-wide statement. So you'll see that we have $57,000 in cash across the district's accounts. Most of that being $24 million is sitting at the general fund, $9.7 in the capital projects reserve fund, $20.7 in capital projects bond fund, and then the $2.7 in your food service fund. Also is the general obligation debt of $65 million. That is the sum of the 4 outstanding debt issuance that you have to make principal and interest payments through the year of 2037. And then the PSERS and the OPEB liabilities are determined by actuaries, and those numbers fluctuate annually based on their calculations. The next slide is just a couple other points of interest. We will be providing you 2 separate letters once the audit is completed. The first one is a management recommendation letter just to let you know that there are a couple upcoming GASB standards that will affect the district. The first one being the financial reporting model implements or improvements that will take effect for the 25-26 school year, and compensated absences will be for next school year, and we will assist the business office in implementing them when that time comes. And finally, there's a letter, what we call the required communications letter. Areas to highlight, all of which are positive. There were no uncorrected misstatements. All adjustments identified and proposed during the audit were reviewed, approved, and posted by management. The financial statements will reflect all of those adjustments. We had no disagreements with management, no significant issues outside of the operations discussed, and of course no significant difficulties encountered. Everyone was very cooperative within the business office and helpful throughout the process. Certainly appreciate all the work and the effort from the business office staff. Belinda and Tom have put a lot of time into helping us acclimate to your district, being our first year here. I'm sure it was a challenge for them. So I want to say thank you for each of them for all of the efforts they did this past year. And with that, I'm through what I intended to cover this evening. If you have any questions, comments tonight, after the meeting, please reach out. The next slide does have my contact information. If anybody does have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Back in at some point here as we go into the budgetary process for the final audit and questions at that point, Belinda?
Yeah, of course, the presentation will be posted to the website, as well as when the final audit is finally completed, that'll be posted and available to the website. But this will lead into our budget numbers of how much available fund balance to move forward with.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, citizens participation, please.
Yes, Mr. President, we have 9 speakers this evening, and we'll get started with Connor Hazel. Just a quick reminder, we have 9 folks that signed up and would like to get a chance to speak tonight, so if we could please be as direct as we can and be mindful of everyone's time. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Connor Hazel, and I'm a senior kicker on the football team. While my time playing here has come to an end, I still feel it's important to speak tonight about why Coach Heiser should remain as a coach and as a mentor. I know football is somewhat about wins and losses, and I'm as competitive as anyone else, but Coach Heiser has always made it about more than that. He cares about us as people first, and he constantly is showing how he cares about our futures, our character, and our success beyond the field. He made that clear to me time and time again. One time I can remember was when he asked me to help a teammate with their homework because he knows that football is, as he puts it, a young man's game, but education and discipline lasts a lifetime. He pushes us to be better, not just as athletes, but as students and as young men. Personally, Coach Heiser played a huge role in my journey to playing in college. He guided me through the recruitment process and made sure I had the opportunities to succeed. The fact that I'm going to Lebanon Valley College, a place where his son is a coach, shows just how much I value and respect him. His leadership was a major reason I chose to quit soccer after a lifetime of playing to focus on football. He created a family atmosphere, and I think that's why I made that decision. Someone who's been involved in many other teams, I can genuinely say that Coach Heiser has created the best atmosphere and culture that I've ever been a part of. Replacing him would not just mean losing a football coach, it would mean losing a mentor, a role model, someone who generally invests in his players' lives. I think the love for Coach Heiser can be seen when you go to his room in the morning before school, and all the people he doesn't even have classes with are just there to socialize with him. The next generation of athletes deserve the same guidance, support, and opportunities that I had under his leadership. I strongly believe there is no better candidate for this position. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hazel. Our next speaker will be Dylan Cunningham.
Hi, I'm Dylan Cunningham. I come to you tonight to tell you that I think Coach Heiser should be able to continue to coach. I was not the top athlete, I didn't get a starting spot, and wasn't the headline of newspapers, but I showed up because of the environment and family Phil Heiser created. He taught my life values and how to stick to commitments. Coach Heiser checked in with me daily, academically and personally, to make sure I was on task. He helped me with recruitment to the next level. I'm thankful for the help he gave me because without that, I wouldn't be playing football at the college level and going on to higher education. I really hope the board reconsiders the reopening of his position. Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan. Our next speaker will be Carrie Cunningham.
Good evening. My name's Carrie Cunningham, and tonight I request your careful consideration against reopening the football coaching position for the fall 2025 season. To the best of my knowledge, Coach Heiser was confirmed to be retaining the position and had season preparations underway when he received notice the position was being reposted. At this point, rescinding an offer from a coach who has such a huge impact on our students after already giving him the green light, even informally, is ridiculous. It is my understanding that the football head coach position was opened in November, filled, and taken down for further applications. Regardless of any changes that have been made with adding a co-op with Fairfield, the changes should have not been filled. Furthermore, any co-op with Fairfield should not impact our team, coaches, or players, but at most be extension of services to our neighboring district. I also ask that you reconsider plans to reopen the position as work has already started. The assistant coaches are preparing clearances and trainings, camps are being selected, the youth flag football clinic is ready for enrollment, fundraising and planning, and more. A long-term football program that is successful on many fronts does not happen with in-season work only. Making a coaching change at this point can upset an entire program. If there is some legally necessary reason the job must be reposted and applications taken again, I hope the end result of hiring Coach Heiser remains the same. I want a coach that works within the district, one who is seasoned and understands what these student athletes need in and out of the classroom, and who has worked not only to build a solid program, but who is putting in hours of work to help these athletes continue to play at the next level in college. I know how important it is for high school athletes to have positive coaching relationships that build trust, support on and off the field. And Heiser does just that and more. He provides opportunities for students to challenge themselves, become better humans, and help them develop not just today, but for their future. When we look at what we have gained over the course of Coach Heiser's career with Gettysburg football, it outweighs any objection you may have to retaining him as a head football coach. Is it district championships you're after? How many of our sports maintain the same coaching staff but do not reach this level annually or even consistently? Is it financially related? Our football games are already one of the highest attended athletic activities at Gettysburg. I would argue that we really gain the value of Coach Heiser is not tangible, countable, and like district championships, wins, or money, but it comes in the form of students who have had their lives changed or being part of his team that prioritize team bonding, camaraderie, and team before itself. I have worked with Heiser as a team mom the last 5 years, and I have witnessed firsthand the accountability, dedication, and teamwork he instills. His expectation is simple: show up, do your best, and put in the work. If you have a coach that brings home every trophy, but you have a coach that teaches your kids about hard work, self-discipline, education, responsibility, teamwork, and all of life's values means more than anything. Sure, is it nice to win? It is, but the motto I push with kids is you win or you learn. You never lose. Heiser is a fantastic coach who can bring the wins, but when he's not, I know that he's ensuring the kids still leave with a lesson. Isn't that the ultimate goal of a well-rounded high school athletic coach? Respectfully, I ask, please retain Coach Heiser for the 2025 football season. Please don't reopen the posting and delay our season preparations. When making decisions like this, we really need to consider who is impacted the most: the parents, overall school district, or our student athletes. I hope every decision that's made in our district has the students at the forefront of decision making, prioritizing them over personal agendas, community input, and external views. Please put our athletes, those who are on the team and supporting Heiser, and who stand to lose the most here, at the front of any vote you must take. Thank you.
Our next speaker is going to be Jack Biggins.
Good evening, and I want to thank the board for the many opportunities that they give us as student athletes. However, recently there seems to be a push to open up coaches' positions, and it feels like you're searching for someone better, but it's really the best way to build a strong athletic program is to keep our coaches that we like. Coach Heiser has already planned our off-season with lifting sessions, 7-to-7 activities, and college scouting events. Key opportunities that prepare us for success. Disrupting this plan with a college coaching change would hurt our development. Success is about more than wins and losses. A great program builds character, discipline, and academic accountability. Things Coach Heiser has pushed for us. Having a coach in the building every day creates a well-rounded program and supports athletes on and off the field. That leadership should be encouraged and not replaced. I urge you to reconsider your decision. Keeping Coach Heiser is what's best for our team and our future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Our next speaker will be Kyler Benedict.
Good evening. My name is Skylar Benedict, and I wanted to take a moment to talk about Coach Heiser and how much he's impacted my life. Early in the season, I broke my collarbone, and it felt like everything was falling apart. But through all of it, Coach Heiser was there for me every step of the way. He didn't just focus on getting me back on the field, he cared about me as a person. Then, in the final weeks of the season, even though I wasn't fully healed, Coach trusted me enough to send me back in for a couple plays. That moment meant more to me than just playing again. It was about the trust he had in me and how much he believed in my ability to contribute to the team. But more importantly, he taught me lessons off the field too. He showed me how to stay strong in tough situations, how to be a better leader, and how to believe in myself even when it's hard. The biggest lesson he taught me, though, was how to handle mistakes and failure. Instead of dwelling on them and letting them lead to more, he taught me to learn from them, adjust, and move on. That every moment is a chance to improve, a chance to be better than before. The last thing I wanted to talk about was the dedication he has to the team and the team atmosphere. Throughout the school year, he holds meetings for leaders, potential leaders, and this year we had a very large group, and it shows how much his players like him and what he's doing. But one of the lessons that really stuck with me was about caring who's around you, caring for what you're doing. Caring for what you're doing, and I think that really shows today the amount of people here who show that they care for this program and they care for our coach. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Kyler. Our next speaker will be Preston Burnett.
Good evening. My name is Preston Burnett. I'm the running back for Gettysburg. I don't have a paper, so I'm going to keep this short and simple. But one thing I want to focus on about Coach Heiser is not only how he's a coach, but how he is a mentor and a tutor. He focuses on being a student athlete personally, and he focuses on brotherhood, whether that's going to Penn State, team bonding, being exposed to the athleticism over there, or Millersville, where we're bonding and stuff like that. And what y'all don't see is the stuff behind the scenes in the off season, trying to get us out, whether it's 6 a.m. or 3 p.m. in the afternoon, getting us, developing us. Because if it wasn't for him, I don't think that I would be who I am today. He brought me up freshman year. I was scared, to be honest with you, but he stuck with me, and he taught me what it means to be unselfish, play for my team, whether I'm the face of the newspaper or whether I'm breaking records. Think my team first, and I wouldn't be doing that without him. There's more. Hold on. He's a down-to-earth guy. You could talk to him about anything. He checks up on us, and he's equal around the weight room, whether you're 215 running a 4.5 or you're fat and slow. It doesn't matter. He loves us all. He's welcoming us all, and the bond and the chemistry that we've built because of him wouldn't be able to be the same with somebody else in his position. So going into my senior year, I couldn't imagine how it would be to be playing without Coach Heiser along my side. He's given me opportunities to talk to D1 colleges. He has connections beyond of what I would even think of. So without Coach Heiser, I truly don't know if I would even be in this position. So there's definitely more. I don't remember right now, but just keep that in mind. So appreciate it.
Thank you, Preston. Our next speaker will be Justine Sig.
Good evening. I am here tonight because I have recently heard that there are intentions to post the job for the opening of the head football coach for our high school team, and it's quite concerning. After I heard this, I thought I should do a little research to better understand the job of school board members. According to the Department of Education, the responsibilities of our school board are to set policy, make decisions, set taxes, appoint the superintendent, evaluate results, and communicate. Each of these duties are to be done with the students, staff, and community placed as the top priority. There should be transparency, meaning Coach Heiser should have been informed that this position will open again. He was not. In November, Coach Heiser had a satisfactory evaluation with no parent complaints. In fact, he was the only fall sport that had 0 parent complaints. And that's from a survey that you all require be sent to parents at the end of each season. He was told to keep doing what he's doing, but now being told that his job is going to be reposted for 2 weeks so the team can have an opportunity for a fresh start from the top down. Who made that decision? When his current players found out about this, there was a post on social media that stated, "Let Coach Heiser coach." He's been coaching for 32 years. 32 years. He's been a head coach of football teams for 23 years, and he's been the head coach for the Gettysburg Warriors for 13 years. Coach Heiser works with his football team all year. We all know the compensation for our sports coaches doesn't drive coaches to coach. It's the kids, the experiences, and the connection. None of us, including those of you sitting on this board, know what Coach Heiser does for his football players year-round. He's with them during the school day. There's a rapport that has been created and built through his 13 years with this team. His job as a coach runs 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The team has camps to prepare for, events to host this summer, and practices and community events to attend. The news that this position is being posted could put a halt to all of that. Some of you sit on this board and think it's your job to make decisions that aren't yours to make. And this seems to be the trend of this school board, inserting yourselves where you shouldn't be. It's extremely concerning when you watch this school board as a whole and hear one of the board members state that they didn't even know that there's a football merger. I wonder if you all know about the head coaching position being reopened. Others on this board said that you had displeasure with how this co-op has rolled out. Can you imagine the displeasure of Coach Heiser and community parents who have been sending their children to football workouts with him just to find out that he may not be the coach next season? The transparency that should be the top priority of this school board is lacking. It seems several of you have your own personal agendas and, quite frankly, personal vendettas against some of the best teachers and staff in this school district. You all need to do better. If you're really here for the kids, think about the kids, not personal issues you have with the person in charge of the program. Communication and transparency are lacking, and you have all made that obvious with the way information is presented at board meetings. Your job is to communicate with everyone involved in the decision-making process, not to make decisions without input from everyone. I hope everyone who is here tonight helps clear any concerns you have about the coaching staff from the top down, and that you get back to taking care of policies and procedures instead of hiring decisions that should be made from everyone minus this board. By the time these decisions make it to the school board, the decisions have already been made. You should trust the staff and the integrity of those who are chosen to make important staffing decisions. Thank you.
The next speaker is going to be Parker Hankey.
Hello, my name is Parker Hankey. I've been playing football for 2 years, going on to my senior year. And in those 2 years, I've been on this team. I can say I've never been more loved and respected in any other sport. The brotherhood that Coach Heiser built can never be broken. Damn, I don't know why I'm crying this one. And from what I can say personally as a coach, he's formed me into the man I am today. He helped me achieve so much of my life that could not have been done without him. He has seen me at my lowest and have lifted me off of my feet and put me on a pedestal that no other man could dream of. In every win or loss, I felt good knowing that Coach had our backs, despite if we won or lost, whether that meant he had to stay up till 3 a.m. watching film or waking up at 5 a.m. to let a handful of guys get lifts in. I've always trusted that he could lead us to victory. And for my last season as a Warrior, I can say I don't think I could play under any other coach other than Matt Heiser. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Parker. Thank you, Parker. Our last speaker will be Mr. Wade Leedy.
First thing I wanted to do tonight is thank all the players that showed up, thank the players that spoke, and thanks the parents that spoke as well. It means a lot, and I know it means a lot to him. All right. Good evening, members of the board. A few of you know who I am, and for those of you that don't, my name is Wade Leedy. I'm a 94 graduate of Gettysburg Area School District. I played football for the district from 7th grade through my senior year, winning a league championship and winning Gettysburg's first ever district game as well. I went on to play football at Millersville University and returned to Gettysburg to help run the family business upon graduation. To say that football, and Gettysburg football specifically, is a part of my DNA would be an understatement. I followed the program closely after college and watched as a previous board relieved the winningest head coach in Gettysburg history, Sam Leedy, from his position. His replacement failed miserably and set the program back 4 years. Marathon practices, interference from parents, fights, players getting kicked out of games, and disrespectful attitudes were the norm. Matt Heiser was hired to replace him after 2 years, and I was asked if I had any interest in joining his staff. I agreed and coached alongside Heiser for the first 5 years. The first 2 years of Matt's tenure here at Gettysburg were rough. He had to completely flip the culture of this program, which he was successful in doing so, and by year 3 we were playing for a league championship. I stopped coaching in 2016 and recently rejoined the staff again for the 2024 season. Wins and losses in the regular season and playoffs are not the only measure of success in high school athletics. Helping to guide these fine young men you see here tonight and teaching them how to be successful members of the community after graduation means something. I know the work that Matt puts into the program and the care that he shows both on and off the field for his players. I believe that having a coach who is inside the school is of the utmost importance. Currently, there is not anyone in the school district that would be able to come in and take over the team. Do you plan on creating a teaching position for a new coach to come in? Do you plan on hiring an individual who can adjust their 9-to-5 job to dedicate the necessary time to run a successful program but won't be in the school? I'd like to circle back to these players that you see here and how this decision at this time by the board will negatively affect them. By my best guess, you're looking at a minimum of 12 weeks before a new coach would be hired and who could possibly step foot in the school and meet the players. That is right at summer break, and by this time, spring workouts should have already taken place, and summer plans for lifting and practice would already be scheduled. As coaches, we get 2 weeks in August with full pads with the players before the season starts. That is not much time to learn, and why spring and summer practices and workouts are such a huge part of running a successful program. I believe that football is the ultimate team sport. No other team sport teaches accountability and dependability that football demands from the players. Every person on the field has a role to play, and teammates have to be able to count on each other. These bonds are often built through spring and summer workouts. Interrupting these would put this program and players at a serious disadvantage headed into the 2025 season. Do not do this to these student athletes. Most of you campaigned on wanting to make decisions that are the best for the students. Hiring a new coach at this time is not making the right choice for the students. Lastly, one of the items on tonight's agenda is a vote on the Fairfield-Gettysburg Football Co-op. It was shared with me that the stability of the head coaching position here at Gettysburg was a selling point for the Fairfield individuals involved. Coach Heiser has even asked 2 former Fairfield coaches to join his staff for the upcoming 2025 season. Opening the position at this time is a sign of instability and not reassuring for the individuals from Fairfield. Do the right thing and do not open this position. Do the right thing by these student athletes and do not open this position at this time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Routine approvals. I've been asked to separate this evening 5.1 through 5 and 5.3. Those will be separated from 5.2 and 5.4. May I have a motion for 5.1 and 5.3?
So moved.
Second.
Question on the motion. 5.1 being the agenda, 5.3 being the approval of Jacoby Transportation drivers. Hearing no question, roll call. Cindy?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Alice?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next routine approval is 5.2, which is a financial report. And 5.4 is the human resources recommendation. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Question?
Can I just,
I was hoping because we have them separated. So, but I know you didn't ask.
yeah, I
Go ahead.
just wanted to thank Belinda because I found an error and it was fixed. So thank you for getting that fixed and reposting it.
Anybody else? Roll call. Michelle?
No.
Alice,
Yes?
Mike,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Cindy,
No.
and I vote yes. Moving on to items for board action, 6.1, Montessori Charter School renewal. May I have a motion?
Kenny?
But 1 second.
I'm sorry.
You do 5-4.
I believe we have a couple of folks from Montessori in attendance this evening. Dr. Hogan, are you here? If you'd like to introduce the members of your group, that would be great.
I apologize. Jason did shoot me a little note that you were present, and with
That's
everything,
okay.
I missed it.
That's okay.
So
Good evening.
please take your time.
Sure. My name is Tammy Hogan, and I am the assistant principal at Gettysburg Montessori Charter School. And I have a few people here representing our school. So first of all, Tom Hawkinsmith, he is a GMCS board member. Nicole Wilt, she is our operations manager. Lee Gugliette, she is our head executive assistant. And Hillary Wolf Doofendock is our IT coordinator.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Now they're simply here if there are questions.
Any board members have any question while we have staff and administrators here?
Just to make sure we're doing this appropriately, do we have to make the motion to then talk about this? Since it's an action item?
We're going to do it the same as, so you can do this under the question on the motion.
Right, okay. So should we make a motion first then? I have a question, but
Okay.
I'm not going to ask it.
Do I have a motion for 6.1?
So moved.
Second.
Question, feel free.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate, she sat down. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you to the team that is here to answer some questions. I just wanted to kind of follow up because I know last meeting we had an informational session to discuss kind of the details of the renewal document, and we did ask some questions and for some things to be maybe some small fixes to be made. So thank you for some of those. I particularly appreciated getting the Montessori documentation for the training that you provide to staff to see that detailed out for both professional staff as well as the assistants in those classrooms, since that's such a crucial role within the Montessori curriculum. And also thank you for updating alongside Morgan, with Morgan there, the appropriate information for certified teachers required by charter school law. So I am pleased to see that's a relatively easy fix. I guess for me, part of this process left me a little bit surprised that those suggestions for making sure that certifications were and hours were appropriately documented came from our Gettysburg offices when we were aware that you were going through this. So I think, to me, having that come through in the first round, it being an easy fix is something that I would hope would be caught by you when providing this documentation the first time around, which led me to look into a little bit of the historical documents from Montessori's charter renewal back in 2020. And I, in comparing the two in terms of recommendations that were made, some of the recommendations that our offices and finance departments make to make sure that the different finance documents for making sure they're posted on the website or have access for the public, that many of those recommendations were the same between 5 years ago and now, which were updated, and that's appreciated. But I think just seeing that is a continued trend, as well as the bigger issue for me is just the clear documentation and consistent documentation of hours for professional development. So in the 2020 document, as well as the 2025 document, there was an HR kind of discrepancy in terms of determining whether or not administration had met the appropriate required hours for professional development. Now, that's not to say that it wasn't done, but it wasn't documented in a way that led us to easily see that on first look. So I guess my concern when I see this is it leaves me wondering if there are specific procedures that you at Montessori have set up to ensure that you're in compliance with those parts of charter school law in terms of documenting it appropriately every year of its charter versus just every 5 when we get a chance to look at it and provide those same recommendations, since they appeared in both of those. So more specifically, I guess that's a question I do have as to what your plan is for ensuring that better records are maintained on a consistent basis, and if there's a specific person on your team, maybe even here tonight, that's responsible for maintaining those records accurately.
So just to clarify, are you asking as far as the documentation of professional development hours?
Yeah, I would say the bigger one for me is that making sure that those hours are input on a regular basis so that lapses don't occur in our, the certifications that are there from year to year.
So one thing that we have is our comprehensive plan, and we periodically check that throughout the year. It is something that's renewed every 3 years, but we are consistently referring to that to make sure that we are complying with everything that's in that plan, and also to make sure that we're providing the staff with the professional development that they need. And we are maintaining accurate records as far as with Nicole Wilt. She documents all of the professional development that the teachers take throughout the year. She has everything marked as far as their Act 48 hours, everything that they need. We also require our teachers and staff to take 2 courses per year of professional development that they feel that they need. And if it's part-time staff, they take 1 course or training that they feel that they need. And that's in addition to all of the other professional development that we feel that our teachers need. So yes, we monitor and make sure that we add to that ongoing throughout the year. So.
Does that documentation of Act 48 hours apply to all staff in the building, including administrators?
So administrators would need the Act 45 hours,
Correct.
But yes, we also need the Act 48, and it does apply to all certified staff.
So what I'm hearing is that the documentation of that and making sure that that's reported as being up to date is your operations manager's job.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So that, I think, to me, it's great that there is somebody doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I am glad to hear that. And also, the history of these reports shows that that is not something that has been prepared adequately in time for the renewal of the charter. So it is now, because we haven't voted on it yet, and we got confirmation that that was updated.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's something that I would assume would be updated for the renewal at the beginning. So I don't know, I don't want to beat around the bush, but I think for me, I'm looking at this as a year to year, making sure that that system stays on track so that halfway through a 5-year renewal, if we approve this charter tonight, that's not something, that would be lapsed before 5 years from now, if that makes sense to the rest of the board. So just ensuring that there's a plan to make sure that's updated appropriately throughout, because I know that varies from certificate to certificate who needs those hours when.
Mm-hmm.
That I would hope that could be something that's documented for you all without the assistance of our district, since we only provide that every 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, I just felt like I need to say that. I don't know that there's a need to put in any type of plan to check in before the 5 years, but we don't really do that before 5 years from now. So as long as there's a plan in place, hopefully that's something that your team can work out to keep up to date on a regular basis. That would be appreciated. Thank you.
I think, Alice, because we had this discussion absent of you and your staff at the last meeting, and nothing bad, was to make sure that we had a central figure representing the school district, and you had a central figure. They can take care of that, and we can step out of it, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Yeah, to me, it's just about, I mean, this has already been stated this evening, right? I do believe that my intentions for being on the board is to try and make the best decisions for kids, right? So when I look at something like that, I do look at, my concern would be that that would cause a problem for you guys and then incidentally the students that are in that school if you fall out of compliance as a result of that. So that's really why. I appreciate you clarifying that, Kenny, for the meeting that you guys weren't able to attend. But I think, that is of importance to me that stays accurate throughout.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So we have a motion on the floor on 6.1. Are there any additional questions? You get the seat.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Hearing no additional questions, roll call. Alice?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
And I vote yes. 6.2 is a draft of the Capital Improvement Program, a 5-year plan, fiscal 25, 26, 29, 30. Just remind board before I ask for a motion, this is really a draft, and I want to remind everybody that any expenditure that's coming out of the Capital Improvement Plan comes before the board as a line item. So tonight's vote is not to approve, I don't want to call it a wish list, but what the administration and the staff has seen and presented to us. So I may have a motion for 6.2, please.
So moved.
Second.
Question on the motion? Hearing none. Cindy?
No.
Ryan?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Alice?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Brings us to our next one, 6.3, the Lincoln Elementary Commissioning Agent, RFQ. May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Question on the motion.
Did we determine the cost for this yet, or was that?
It's a ballpark figure around 50. We don't have the exact figures yet, but we're figuring around $50,000.
And we did decide that this was already it was already budgeted.
Yeah, it was already budget. It was a budget item as a part of the overall project.
Okay, just.
Mr. President, I had a follow-up question. Last meeting, Belinda, Jeremy, Mr. Davis asked a question about if it impacted any insurance rates. I can't remember if you answered that, or did you have to look into that?
Is in terms of not having it or having it?
No,
I
like
apologize.
if we spend the money to have a commissioning agent effectively field test and test everything through, and there's a failure, would that impact our insurance rates? Like give a discount, or is
No,
it just
no
nothing at all?
discounts on assurability. Obviously, if there's a failure, the cost of the failure may be able to be ran through insurance. But again, if you're having insurance respond, then the likelihood of rates going up. But the commissioning agent is not necessarily a specific portion of that. It would be a large equipment failure type of situation where the insurance would respond, not necessarily commissioning.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, roll call. Michelle?
Yes.
Alice?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Cindy?
No.
And I vote yes. 6.4 is the football cooperative sponsorship with Fairfield in a nutshell. The merger of the two districts related to football, and there was some discussion, I know, with committees that they would, for transparency purposes, also evaluate the band and the cheerleading and see what can be incorporated so that those student athletes in their right aren't losing opportunities that we're providing to the football team from Fairfield. And I'm assuming, Cody, that is still in the process of being evaluated, and and if we can, we're gonna move forward with that. Thank you. May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Question on the floor. Roll call. Alice?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next is our informational item 7.1, Gettysburg Area School District Scoreboard. Is there an actual presentation for that?
Yes, we do have a presentation for you.
I just didn't know how elaborate that, if you're doing it.
So thank you for your time this evening. This evening we are presenting, with the help of many folks, a new opportunity. We are looking hopefully for a new school board for the Warrior Stadium. We're proposing a community fundraising campaign to help shape the future of experiences at the Warrior Stadium with a new digital display. It is not just about athletics. It will touch the academics with student learning opportunities as well as the community with the chance to hold movies, nights, and other notable events at the stadium. Bear with me, sorry. So our current scoreboard has issues turning on. Play clocks never worked. The time on the scoreboard often appears glitchy. During the play, the scoreboard sometimes goes off. The video board component doesn't work. Also, current advertisers and school board have agreements expiring at the end of this fiscal year. And a quote from one of our members of our staff is that we hold our breath every time we turn it on. A few of us have got together as a committee and evaluated, and much thanks goes into Cody, simply because he did a lot of the legwork with the scoreboards. And we've had several committee meetings and also before the Facility and Finance Committee meetings as well. But the proposed scoreboard of the Gettysburg Warriors, the total board would be 19 by 25 with a video area of 9'1" by 24'9". And here's a sample of what the board would look like, as well as a backdrop against the trees, just to give a visual appearance here. At the present time, our cost estimate is about, the scoreboard itself is about $185,000, with our total cost not to exceed $245,000. Now, however, this cost that we're proposing is not to exceed. We are below that, but there's some, of course, some unknowns you not necessarily will know up front once you start laying the groundwork for the fiber optics and installation and so forth. But everything that you see here, it would be in a total cost not to exceed $245,000. So our concept, of course, is based upon using Daktronics' background. They have been video display boards throughout the Commonwealth. Here are several of the schools that are displayed that have at some level of presentations, whether it be video displays, whether it be scoreboards, whether it would be signs out in front of the schools. You can see several of the 40-plus high schools plus the 70 displays visually here across the Commonwealth. Here's just a snapshot of a few of those. As you can see, some of the college backgrounds. Of course, we're not looking at anything to the lower right-hand column for our outside scoreboard, but you can see Daktronics is definitely in the market and a very valued vendor to help bring value to our scoreboard. So basically our new scoreboard capabilities that we're looking at, down the bottom where you see anchor partners, there are 5 to 6 spots that could be anchor partners to help. The concept basically is, in a nutshell, is the school board would be paid by GASD or GASD, and of course then we would look for sponsorships to help pay the scoreboard out. So of course the concept would be that the district would outlay the funds using capital funds, and then of course we look for sponsorships to fill that gap, and our concept is to have it totally paid for by our sponsors. So again, back to the main page here, we have our anchor partners at the bottom, similar to the board now, but similar to the board now, this one would be able to fit 5 to 6 on the bottom. It can display digital ads on each side, a minimum of 30 10-second exposures. So on the side of the scoreboards up there, you see two smaller ads. Those ads can actually disappear, so to speak, and show a full display of whatever action is occurring, whatever would be on the main board as well. So there is no limit onto the number of sponsors. There could be a 30 seconds to 1 minute video clips that can play on the entire board pregame or during halftime. Ability to have specific businesses or organization as a touchdown sponsor with a video graphic appearing at every touchdown. Free advertising opportunities for the district when it comes to employment for bus drivers and et cetera. As for events, we could hold movie nights on the big screen for the community or fundraisers to support student organizations like Minithon. The video display can be used to showcase and slideshows of graduates prior to the ceremony. Student athletes can be featured on the display in a variety of ways, including interviews or images for senior nights. The Gettysburg Film Festival, of course, is recognized at the national level, held an event at Gettysburg High School last April. A new video board could open up opportunities for film screenings at the national festival. The 2025 festival season is set for May, so of course, us pursuing a scoreboard may not hit that market for May, but we may be in the arena to open up the display and the stadium for more opportunities. The new scoreboard comes with a plethora of education opportunities. The support goes way beyond game night. If we move forward with Daktronics, they have an event production curriculum developed by event producers and vetted by educators. Design and multimedia students will have the chance to produce videos, create animations, and develop graphics and advertisements for the whole audience to see. In addition to gaining valuable real-world experience, Daktronics has made more connections with universities and college venues than any other video display manufacturer, giving them a chance to earn work-study at internships and continue their production experience. As to the side of the slide, of course, you can see the related careers in terms of radio, marketing, TV production, graphic design, and team operations of scoreboards. Sorry, the chair is in the way, so where is... The Google icon here?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so bear with me for a quick presentation. You will see one of the schools, local, highlighting Daktronics and the educational component as well as the scoreboards.
Yeah, I see the volume. There you go. There you're good.
Unlike other areas of town, we are in the center of Columbia County. So that's where you get central Columbia. As you get older and you want to raise your family, you want to come here because it is a very good, close-knit community.
I give it like small, quaint farmland, but like with like a small little like town that's like, it's cute.
Beautiful area right next to the Susquehanna River. Central Columbia is actually one of the top 50 districts in the state.
Oops, excuse me.
Rural school district. As a superintendent, obviously, I have to be fiscally responsible, and there was no way we were going to purchase a jumbotron. I thought my high school principal, Adam Complex, was nuts. He was like, "You're crazy." I never let it go. He never let it go. He came to me one day and said, "Listen, I'll make you a deal. I might get you 2 video boards if you can find a way to get kids involved." I thought, "Oh, well, that's easy."
My first 2 years, I was in the ag science pathway, but I switched over to this pathway because I liked doing this stuff more. So if we need to put something in like this graphic for Athlete of the Week, we go hit the plus button, and then we go to browse.
We had someone come in from Daktronics. He taught me and like 2 other students who have since graduated how to run like the board and everything, and it was pretty easy.
We give them all 8-second headshots. Their names come on the screen, and everybody gets a big kick out of that. Other schools come and go, "Wow."
This is something that I want to do in college and possibly down the road.
I already have one student who's going to university, and they have a Daktronic system. She's being hired currently to work there at the college. Think about those athletes that might get involved. We do have those. We also have those kids that have fortunate enough to be at Westside High School, managed in School District 5 down in South Carolina. That's what I wanted to bring here, and that's what I envisioned, and it's coming to fruition.
All right, thank you. So, of course, what I wanted to finish up sharing here from a staff's perspective, us doing our outreach. Can you turn it off? You gotta pull that thing back.
What high school town, a lot of deep pride in Asheboro. I went here, a lot of people who have
This one? Nope.
multiple generations of family.
There you go. All right. So we did, thanks to Vanessa, she outreached to our staff. And from our staff's perspective, our technology education teacher, Casey Smith, she shared that the students currently now handle much of the video and movie content at the high school. They could also work on advertisements for both school and local sponsors, partnerships that would play on the board. I live stream graduation and could potentially put a camera view on the live stream view of the monitor during graduation as well. Secondly, from our technology education teacher, Chad Deckert, he said, of course, that our students take group and candid photos, videos, footage to support the yearbook, newspaper, Warrior Wire, and many other district groups. I can imagine they would all be able to use the software to create displays, slide presentations, and video clips for various sports events and graduation. So our potential benefits that we see in the Scoreboard opportunity is the project opens up more educational opportunities for GASD students. Aside from learning, it will give students real-world experiences by producing videos, creating animations, and developing graphics and advertisement for the Scoreboard. It could become an annual source of revenue after the money is raised to pay upfront costs with a direct benefit to athletes and students in these programs. GASD could utilize the Scoreboard for fundraising events like the Mini-thon, and the PTO will go back to incredible causes and students. It offers an opportunity to the district to connect more with the community by holding potential movie nights and other events. It gives athletes and the marching band students who are on the field a chance to be recognized, including the special highlights for senior nights. It allows GASD to provide partnerships with area businesses and organizations throughout the sponsorships. GASD could advertise in events as well as vacant and contracted positions on the Scoreboard to assist finding qualified candidates. So in a snapshot here, we took a look, thank you Vanessa for putting this together, the Warrior Stadium game day attendance. So, you know, if we're looking at an outreach to the community and for businesses to be able to advertise on our board, so there's 2,200 seating capacity at Warrior Stadium, with an average attendance of 262.7. The events, learning opportunities for GASD students cohorting with the DAC classroom would be limitless. And the events that are shown, attendance for high school varsity football is, 1,700. So, of course, the exposure for area communities would have all these opportunities to have their partnership with the district highlighted in each event. So, again, you can see the numbers that are outlined by each one of the sports. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just understanding that we do have a good outreach, good attendance for our Warrior Stadium. And so therefore, we could potentially reach so many more businesses and highlight a partnership between the school district and the area businesses. 75% of the universities and professional venues use DAC Charm products, so it's an educational opportunity that is limitless for the students. We hope to address this as a fundraising campaign. The campaign name is basically keeping score, with our tagline, teamwork on and off the field. What our goal is, according, with the guidance and the support by the school board, is to meet with the current sponsors first. We currently have sponsors now on our board, as I mentioned before, that are expiring, so we want to meet to them first and give them opportunity as to see what they're willing to do to move forward. We want to meet with other area businesses and organizations. We want to launch the fundraising campaign using our RevTrack Vanco events, and it would be, all that fundraising event would be run in-house. So the advertising as well as just plain fundraising for the Scoreboard would be done in-house without any other support from another organization. Lastly, any questions? I know I kind of threw a lot at the board at one time, but basically, we've been looking at a scoreboard now for some time, and evaluated several different venues, of vendors as well, and Daktronics has arisen above, mostly because of their level of support and as well as the education opportunities to provide for our students. Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I definitely have a comment. Wow. Infomercial. No, fantastic. Wow. You can be a salesperson.
Thank you. I'm not normally told that.
I'm waiting for the sponsorships to start rolling in here. Wow.
Well, I will say that Vanessa's quite excited to outreach to some of our partners already. Yeah.
She really put some time into that.
Yeah. Special thanks to Vanessa and to Cody. Many folks got together.
And then hopefully once we have the new school board, we can at the same time get the lights put work into a couple of them.
Yes.
I'm not kidding either. No, thank you.
Sure.
Anybody have any questions? All righty, board committee reports.
Thank you.
No. I am so sorry. 7.2.
That's quite all right. I understand
I'm
that
sorry, Jeff.
middle school math curriculum is a tough act to follow for what we just saw. And
well, we're about to see your skill level.
I promise I'll be very quick. I have no presentation, but we'll just roll with it.
I hope you have the same type of PowerPoint.
Can we just start that at slide 1 and then no, very quickly. Over the past few months, our K-8 math teachers have been thoroughly reviewing potential new math resources to enhance instruction across all areas of mathematics. While the elementary teachers continue their research, our middle school team has reached a unanimous decision on their preferred resource. It's a program called EdGems Math. One of the key factors in this decision is EdGems Math's flexibility. The program offers both print-based resources and dynamic digital tools, supporting instructional strategies such as mathematical reasoning, peer-to-peer discussions, high-level questioning, and real-world math problem solving. Additionally, EdGems Math is designed to meet the needs of diverse learners, including our English language learners, students performing at or above grade level, and those who may struggle with math concepts. The program provides differentiated resources that help students build essential skills to develop a deeper conceptual understanding of math. Lastly, and most importantly, our current middle school math curriculum lacks continuity. Our 6th grade team currently uses a program called Everyday Math, while our 7th and 8th grade team use entirely different materials. Transitioning to EdGems Math for all 3 grade levels will create consistency, strengthen vertical alignment, and improve communication among teachers across grade levels. Pending board approval at a future meeting, our hope would be to purchase the EdGems Math program for grades 6 through 8 for a period of 3 years beginning in the 25-26 school year. For those of you interested in reviewing the program in more detail, I do have sample materials available in my office, so just reach out. Feel free to stop by and preview them if you want. Again, this is something that we hope we can get approved in the next couple of meetings, so we can provide proper training for our staff moving forward into next school year.
Jeff, I'm not going to belabor this and extend this meeting, but this is the recommendation of our math teachers and our administrators.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, board committee reports. I didn't see anybody. Help, Tim.
I don't have anything. Belinda stole my glory. Sorry.
Wow. Program reports, being told that there are none.
I defer.
Thank you.
Hey, can
Before we go...
Can I just say one thing?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Michelle.
The musical is next weekend, Friday, Saturday, 28th, and March 1st.
Thank you.
It's Into the Woods, I believe.
So before we get to the calendar of events, of board events, some of you don't have the HR report in our audience, and obviously the people that don't see some detailed HR reports remotely, and I didn't want to take away from any other segment of the HR report, but the man sitting to my left, Dr. Perrin, was on that HR report. He has submitted his resignation. His last day will be June 30th with us. I certainly will have more to say in honoring his commitment to this district over the years. As we get closer to that date, we obviously welcome Dr. Jeff Matzner. We're in negotiations now. I mean, as a personnel matter, we're hoping that Dr. Matzner will be able to fulfill Jason's shoes, and the board will be right back looking for an assistant superintendent and some other positions. Having said that, congratulations, Jason, on your next endeavor. It's very much appreciated on behalf of the board and the community.
My pleasure. It's been an honor and a very quick 8 years. I came for 4 years.
I think COVID just took the life out of us, to be honest with you.
That was 16 years, yeah.
Yeah, you can double with code. So our next board meeting, and I want to thank everybody that was in attendance tonight, and especially the people that spoke. The board does take into consideration all the correspondence it receives. Unfortunately, we did not make comments of personnel matter, and that's out of respect for the dignity not only of the teaching position, but our positions and everything else. It would be improper for us to do that, and we have never done that, nor will we start. Having said that, our next board meeting will be March 3rd, 2025 at 7 o'clock. Immediately following this meeting, the board will hold an executive session on a personnel matter, but I will say this publicly, it has nothing to do with the football program or the football coach. It's a collateral personnel matter that has no involvement with anything that was spoken here this evening. Having said that, may I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
We stand adjourned.